Yo, what's up? We on the Talk Yo Talk podcast. Yo, Justin Henry, Marcus Graves.
Yes,
We got a
sir.
jam-packed show today, man. Talking some NFL training camp. We just got some breaking news. Deshaun Watson 1 year suspension. So actually, let's get to that first before we get into like the NBA stuff, Marcus. Deshaun Watson breaking news. Looks like he's going to get a 1 year suspension. Without going too much into detail, man, what's your initial reaction to this? Because I thought it was all dialed in with the 6 games. The NFL
Yeah,
appealed. It's kind of a messy situation, man.
yeah. It's interesting, man. It's interesting because he kind of got a lot of pushback when he got 6 games, and for me, man, I'm not mad at the 1 year because I look at other suspensions around the league, particularly Calvin Ridley. Understandably, he bet on his own team, this and that. But $1,500 on a team that you weren't even playing in the game, and you get
Yeah.
1 year, and then we have these allegations, whatever they are, and you get in 6 games. It doesn't seem like it adds up to me. But that's just me, man. I don't know. I know in the past we've seen guys like Josh Gordon. Obviously, he was a multiple time offender, but for smoking weed, getting years on years of suspension, and guys getting kicked out of the league over that. So it's interesting that he only initially got 6 games, but I think Roger Goodell came down and said that wasn't enough.
Yeah, and it's tough for me because I look at the overall body of it. Deshaun Watson, I feel like there's something they're wanting to make a poster child out of him. Obviously, an example like, hey, this can't happen again for a good reason. Obviously, dude, he did some weird shit, and at the end of the day, I think he also had a year where he was, he didn't play on the field. This year, he's playing for $1. So even if he gets suspended, it's not really a true suspension where he's getting his pay is getting impact. So for me, 8 games, 6 games, there's really not a huge difference to me of like 6 games versus the whole year. Like, I don't know. I feel like the NFL is inconsistent with like, hey, we're going to go with the judge ruling, but then we're going to appeal. They should have got it right the first time. He should have had his suspension. We also got to look at other cases, and that might be on the NFL that it ended up this way because of what happened previously with Robert Kraft, what happened with Ben Roethlisberger. No matter, I know the situations were different, but that's on the NFL for messing up and getting this whole thing messy, man. So hopefully it goes away. I just want it either to be a year and it goes away. They figure it out. Either we see Deshaun Watson in 2023 or we see him mid-year this year. I just want it to be over with, man.
Yeah, it's funny you mentioned Ben Roethlisberger, Robert Kraft. They're all different, but they're all under the same realm of action. And I think that the NFL needs to come up with a system to where this is how we're going to handle these issues, and this is what is it's set in stone. Whether it's severe or not as severe, if you're in this realm of action, this is the penalty that we're going to give you. And I think that they're in a like you said, they're in a sticky situation where they haven't necessarily given like a stiff a certain situation, certain penalty to it's
Yeah.
case by case. And that's what makes it so interesting and so difficult to judge, because obviously every case is going to be different, but you can't. It seems like they're coming down harsher on some guys rather than other guys, and it just depends on the situation. But like I agree with you. I think that they have to come down with this is what we're going to do in this situation. And there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
I mean, it's not like it's a common case. It's a
Yeah,
unique ass case. So I
yeah,
mean, we've never
for
seen
sure.
nothing like this before. But it is a little, there does need to be some consistency. And it's affecting a lot of things. It's affecting the Browns organization, who obviously traded for him knowing the circumstances. So that's kind of on them too. But at the end of the day, like, they got to get some kind of resolution. This has been going on. It's lingering over the NFL. It's a bad look for all parties involved, especially if you have somebody come in, make a ruling. Now you got to appeal. I don't know, man. It's tough to see. And, hopefully there's some consistency out of this. And hopefully we don't get no more players doing dumb shit like Deshaun Watson did. So,
Yeah, but I think for me, man, like I think the NFL needs to come down with if they're going to suspend him, they're going to have to come down with a fine as well for me, just because like you mentioned, man, he's playing for $1 in his
yeah,
pocket. Like it's nothing.
he's
It's
playing for a
nothing to
dollar.
him. And he already got paid last year with the Texans, even though he wasn't suspended. They kind of just paid him, and it was a weird situation where he was just kind of away from football. But he still signed. He still got 50 million in signing bonus, whatever it was, the signing bonus he got. So like, it's not like he's hurting on the money end of things. And I think obviously he probably wants to play football. He probably wants to be on the field. But I think just the suspension, like he's not really losing money or anything. So it's just a weird situation for the NFL just to make him miss games, but not necessarily take money out of his pockets.
Yeah, the way they built that contract up, the Browns obviously were anticipating some kind of suspension. Deshaun Watson was anticipating some kind of suspension, fully guaranteed contract. So, I mean, at the end of the day, he weaseled his way around the financial aspect of not getting paid this year if something were to happen. So, I don't know, man. And morally, I think about it. I'm like, okay, for me, what's the difference between a 6-game suspension or a year suspension or a 2-year suspension or a 3-year suspension? Dude was wrong for what he did. He didn't get charged criminally. There's obviously some other stuff that happened, and I want to acknowledge that. I'm not saying that none of it happened or that he's not a weirdo. Like, that's obviously his thing, and he has to deal with that mentally and living on with that in the future. But what is the right penalty? Like, what's the right penalty for that kind of punishment if we've never seen it before? And the NFL has said, oh, we can't convict anybody or we can't, punish them unless they've been convicted. It's like there's too many gray areas for me and not enough consistency with the NFL, man. So
yeah. And I think another gray area is like, for me, I feel like he definitely did something wrong. If there's settlements going on,
yes,
like you definitely did something. And I think if you're the NFL and you look at that, like there's obviously it's not that he's just innocent. So you can say, you're innocent until proven guilty, but clearly there's something that happened, or else you wouldn't be coming to a settlement. So if I'm the NFL, I look at that and I take that into account heading into a suspension.
That's true, man. And we saw Josh Gordon's career ruined because he couldn't put down some weed, which is legal in a lot of different states now. So anyway, I'm ready to turn the page on Deshaun Watson, man, and talk about some other stuff. There's some other as far as the NBA, man, normally this is a dry period, but we talked about it last week, bro. It's getting spicy in the NBA right now. And we saw Dejounte Murray and Paolo Banchero going at it on Instagram and sending messages back and forth about, are you soft or whatever the whole conversation was, man. What was when you see, because that's kind of random. Like DeJounte Murray hasn't been known as this huge trash talker his career, and like now all of a sudden he's all over the place.
Yeah, no, honestly, I've been watching DeJounte Murray in his career a lot, and I think he's been kind of hid in San Antonio. But he's got some shit to him, man. Like he's got some dog in him. Comes from the Seattle area. I think he's got some shit to him, man. And to see, I think for me, I like seeing that dog coming out in a pro-am game. Obviously, it's not, it's all fun and games, and threw it off the backboard and talk some shit and threw it off Paolo Banchero. I thought I liked it, man. I think it's all fun and games. But then to take it to Instagram and social media, I think that was a little too much for me, man. It's just basketball, and I think it's not that serious.
As a hooper, do you think something's going on with Murray? Like, is he trying to show, like, I don't get it, because it's not a huge thing. Like, he's going to go play for the Hawks. He'll be fine. He's going to play by the rules in the NBA. Is he just having fun, or is he doing a little too much? Like, we saw him hitting the ball off the top of one of the players' heads. Yeah. He's throwing the ball straight at Paolo Banchero, just talking mad shit to him during the pro-am. Like, I get that there's a level of shit talking, especially in those games. Like, you're getting some players who are kind of, chomping at the bit to get to that opportunity versus those NBA guys trying to prove themselves out there. Are you feeling a certain type of way? Like, bro, like this ain't really you, or you like, for some reason, he's just showing out?
I think it's a little bit of both. I think the hitting it off the top of the head is a little too much for me. But at the same time, man, you gotta think about it. Like, these guys go and play in these pro-ams, and some of the dudes that are playing against them, like, this is the highlight of their career. So they're playing their hardest, man. And obviously, as an NBA player, as DeJounte Murray in his home state, he doesn't want to be embarrassed in that aspect. And as a basketball player, just me personally, man, like once it gets between those lines, like it's not personal, it's just basketball. Like if you come to play, then let's play. And I think maybe obviously he wouldn't do that in the NBA game, so maybe it's a little too much, for me in that aspect. But like I said, man, I like it. For me, I like it. I think
but what if he's doing that to you though? What if he's snapping the ball on top of your head?
But the thing is, I'm not letting that happen. Like I'm coming right back. I'm coming right back at him. I'm like, we going battle. And I think maybe DeJounte is bringing a little shit to the Hawks, man. I think the Hawks have been labeled a little bit as a softer team in the NBA, and I think he might bring that dog, and he's gonna help them push forward and maybe get over the hump in the Eastern Conference.
We'll see, man. There's Eastern Conference, man. There's a lot up for grabs, and the whole KD, Kyrie, Nets saga has been kind of wild too, man. we just saw KD come out and say the reports. You never know how accurate this shit is, but the reports are saying that it's either KD or Sean Marks and Steve Nash. Like there's a hard line drawn. Either trade KD or you're firing Steve Nash and Sean Marks. And Kyrie has backed this up too, and pretty much been echoing the same thing as KD. It's like they want to stay in Brooklyn, but without without Sean Marks, Steve Nash, there's something going on in the organization behind the scenes that we don't know about, because this is kind of wild. The whole offseason with Harden getting traded, Ben coming on and then not playing in the playoffs, the rumors about the text message thread, like there's a whole bunch of shit going on with this organization. Who has to go? Is it KD and Kyrie, or do you think it's Sean Marks and Steve Nash?
Man, I think if you're the Nets, man, you got to look at it and say, what direction, what is your organizational values? And you look at, I think Joe Tsai, the Nets owner, has come out, man, and said like he's backed up the staff and the GM. And I think, people said it like on different talk shows. Shannon and Stephen A talked about it. I think Joe Tsai would rather, not necessarily win the finals and be proud of his team and how they play, rather than, deal with a prima donna organization and, a player-led organization. Like, I think he just wants a team that plays hard and plays for the city of Brooklyn. And it's interesting because you got one of the best players in the world, and it's hard to just say, oh, we're not going to listen to him. Like, we'll just ship him out. Like, it's hard to say you're going to trade Kevin Durant and be fine with that. So it's interesting, man.
The crazy part is that's how they built that whole team. They built it on KD, Kyrie, superstars back. They went and traded for James Harden, traded for Ben Simmons, even after getting rid of Harden. Like, it's all superstars right now, and I don't see how they change it. Like, without going and trading Kyrie after he just locked in that player extension is going to be difficult. Trading KD at age 33 in the middle of a deal right now is probably going to be difficult to get the right value back. And then who knows what's going on with Ben Simmons? Like, I think hopefully he gets back on the court sooner than later, but that's a whole other issue in itself. And there's so many question marks over this Nets team right now. But I'm just trying to figure out like who's going to be the starting five next year. Like, I don't think the Nets even know who their starting five is going to be coming into 2 months out from now.
Yeah, it is. Man, I saw a thing that Shaq was talking about. He was saying, they built the organization around KD. Like, he's the foundation of the organization. And for you to just get up and say, I want to leave, like, you got to be the strongest parts of the organization. And I think my problem with the whole Kevin Durant thing is that in my eyes, he's the top 2 player in the NBA. And you don't just leave. Like, you need to make it work. Like, you are the best player. You'll be the best player on any team you go to.
Yeah.
Like, you need to make it work. People need to come to you. Like, I feel like he wants to do a little too much moving around. Like, I want to go to this team. And obviously every person can play, every man can do what they want to do. That's a whole different conversation.
Right.
But for me, just looking at Kevin Durant as one of the best basketball players in the world, he needs to be the foundation of an organization. People need to come to him to play basketball.
I don't think Kevin Durant wants to be the vocal leader, best player of a team. I think he wants to play basketball. I think he wants to have less of the business aspects influence him on the basketball court. And I think he just wants to play with like talent. I think he just wants every game damn near to be an all-star game so he can get one-on-ones without getting doubled. Like, I think he just wants to hoop, man. Like, but at the same time, when you're that talented, there's a reason why teams lean on you. They pay you that amount is because you have to be the anchor for that team. You see it with LeBron. You see it with Curry. You see it with all the top guys, Lillard. Like, these guys are staying on their teams, but they're the anchor of the team that they're on. So I don't know. It's a weird dynamic because you want to think like KD would want to be the man, but it feels like even at this stage in his career, age 33, after he's won 2 ships, that's not important to him. He just wants to hoop and like play with other top players. It's weird to me.
Yeah. I look at Giannis, man. Like you mentioned, KD doesn't want to be necessarily the vocal leader. Like, I don't think Giannis is necessarily a vocal leader. I think he just hoops, man. I think Drew Holiday is the leader of that team. The locker room leader. Obviously the defensive leader, picking up the ball right at half court or full court at times. So I compare it to that. Like, KD doesn't necessarily have to be a vocal leader to be, the star of a team. And I think, they have pieces there that can be, good pieces that they don't necessarily need somebody to take over a locker room. I don't think, like, obviously you have Bron, and Bron's probably the best leader in the NBA. and you got guys around the league like Chris Paul and guys like that. But for me, I look at guys like Kawhi and Giannis and Jokic. I don't necessarily think those are vocal leaders. They're just about business, about playing good basketball. And I think that's that's a category that KD can fall in.
It's tough though because he's I think people look for him to be that. And he's already kind of more of a louder mouth on the court, so it looks like he's a vocal leader, but maybe he's not. Kyrie to me always seemed like the type that wouldn't be that vocal leader either too, because he's always in, kind of doing his own thing. And when they brought Harden in, it was the same thing. Now they bring Ben Simmons in. Who's the vocal leader right now for the Nets? Nobody knows.
Yeah, nobody knows.
Man. Well, enough about the Nets, man. Let's talk about it, bro. Like, let's talk about it. This is a segment, you know what I'm saying? I love this segment. Last time we talked about CeeDee Lamb. A hot player right now that people are talking about is Jalen Hurts. And this isn't fantasy related. I know I do a lot of fantasy stuff, but this isn't fantasy related. We've been seeing him going in training camp. We'll talk about training camp in a little bit, but we've been seeing him and A.J. Brown. Their connection looks legit. Like, he might have taken a leap up. Let's talk about it, bro. Let's talk about Jalen Hurts.
Yeah. So, we're going to, just to reiterate, because I know Jalen Hurts is a hot fantasy commodity. This is about Sundays and Sundays only, wins and losses. Who you got wanting to lead your team? And this week is Jalen Hurts, man. So we're going to go Jalen Hurts or Ryan Tannehill.
Woo! Give me Hurts.
I like that. I take Hurts too. I like that. Jalen Hurts or Derek Carr?
Derek Carr. Easy.
Derek Carr, easy. Yeah. Jalen Hurts this year. Think about it. This year, Jalen Hurts or Matt Ryan?
Give me Matt Ryan.
Matt Ryan, former MVP. You got to go with Matt Ryan, right?
Got to go with Matt Ryan.
Jalen Hurts or Kirk Cousins?
Give me Jalen Hurts.
No, sir. I'm taking Kirk Cousins, man. This year, I think Kirk Cousins is the guy. This year.
What's different from last? We can talk about.
I don't know.
Last year?
I don't know. I like Kirk Cousins though. And then finally, man, the guy you're wearing today, which is just crazy that you came on the show with that jersey. But Trey Lance, man. Trey Lance or Jalen Hurts?
Trey Lance. Give me Trey Lance all day.
Oh man. So, let's get into them all now, man. We got to get into them all, and let's start with Trey Lance, man. Like, I get it, the hype is there, the fantasy hype is there, but we've seen Jalen Hurts at least give me a little something. Like, we've seen the potential a little bit, man. We haven't seen that from Trey Lance. So why are you taking Trey Lance?
I think with Jalen Hurts, we kind of see his upside, right? I feel like as a passer, we've probably seen Jalen Hurts. Maybe he's a little bit better. And I feel like with Jalen Hurts, too, he gets nicked up a little bit. I want to see Trey Lance. I feel like just because I haven't seen it with Trey Lance outside of the little bit we did last year, he has a better team around him this year. And to me, he has all the similar qualities as a Jalen Hurts. He just has more upside. He has a better arm. And to me, I'll take that. I think he's a winner, Trey Lance. We're going to find out a lot about him this year. There's a lot of unknowns. So to talk about it, it's probably not fair to Jalen Hurts because he's proven it on the field, but give me Trey Lance. I'll take the arm, the legs, the size, the team. You name it. Yeah.
No, I mean, I like Trey Lance, man. I think he'll be a good quarterback. But when I look at Jalen Hurts and I look at the pieces they put around him this year, A.J. Brown, you got the healthy Devontae Smith coming back. I personally think Jalen Reagor is going to have a good year. I think obviously he's been a supreme failure this first three.
With Devontae Smith and
think about
AJ
it.
Brown there?
This is what I'm saying. He has no pressure on him. He has no pressure on him anymore. He does not have to be the guy. He doesn't have to be the second guy. He doesn't have to be the third option. They got Dallas Goedert there. I think Jalen Reagor just focus on just playing football, man. And he's obviously. I understand the hate. I understand. He has not proven one single thing this in his entire career. But I think at some point it's got to turn around, man. I think, he's more comfortable with Jalen Hurts now. Obviously, it's his second year with him.
I think Jalen Reagor gets traded. I don't think we even see him on the Eagles this year. I think week one he's either getting cut or traded. That's what I think.
I don't know, man. And I think because look, you got to think about it, man. When you're not the main option of a team, like you just focus on playing your role. You just focus on playing football. You don't have to do too much. You don't have to do too little. You just playing your game. And when I look at the Eagles offense now, you got A.J. Brown, Miles Sanders, Dallas Goedert, Devontae Smith. Like Jalen Reagor is 5 or 6 in that category. And
he ain't gonna last long.
I'm not saying, let me refer. I'm not saying he's gonna have a great year. I just think
Okay.
he'll be a viable wide receiver 3 option for the Eagles. Like he'll be a good option for Jalen Hurts. Obviously he's still got the speed. I think we can see some things from him this year.
Now, did you say Kirk or did you say Hurts? You said
I
Kirk
said
Cousins
Kirk.
or Jalen
I
Hurts?
said Kirk. I said Kirk
So
Cousins.
talk about that, bro, because we done seen Kirk Cousins his entire career. It's
Yeah.
manifested now. All the what was his little saying he used to have? We
You
seen
like
Kirk
that.
Cousins. You
You
like that,
like
right?
that.
You like that. We seen all
Yeah.
that. Now Jalen Hurts. Talk about why you got Kirk Cousins over Jalen Hurts, because I
Yeah.
ain't with you on that one.
I'm just looking at the Vikings, man. I think they can be a very good contender in the NFC North, especially. You know, obviously the Packers go down. Devontae Adams, they lose some other pieces. We're not sure what the Packers are going to look like this year. Obviously, they still got Aaron Rodgers, but I look at the Vikings, man. You got one of the best offensive weaponies in the league. Dalvin Cook, Justin Jefferson, Adam Thielen. That's a great 3-headed monster heading into the season.
They
And
had
I
the
think
same weapons last year.
they
though.
did. I agree with you. And the Vikings were solid last year. They weren't horrible.
Solid.
This is what I think. Kirk Cousins is 8-9, 9-8 type guy. That's what you're gonna get from him. I don't see the Eagles being better. I don't see the Eagles being 8-9, 9-8. I think they're gonna be worse than that.
But if Jalen Hurts is on if Jalen Hurts was on the Vikings, I think the Vikings would be a playoff team. I think with Kirk Cousins, they're like not a playoff team. I think that he changes. But if you gave him Justin Jefferson, Dalvin Cook to Jalen Hurts, and then you put Kirk Cousins with last year with Devontae Smith and Miles Sanders, bro, Kirk Cousins would have been out the league if he was the Eagles.
Kirk Cousins did that. He did that in Washington. He did that in Washington.
He job there.
No, he was getting franchise tagged in Washington.
Man, that's true.
He got 80 mil from Washington, or not from Washington, but off his play. I'm saying off of his play though, because they want to. I mean, obviously, I think the Vikings reached on a little bit of a contract, but
yeah,
Kirk Cousins was solid. I think he went to the playoffs in Washington. Did he not?
They did, but then that was it. Like we haven't seen Kirk Cousins do anything meaningful lately. I mean, they had against the, I think Jalen Hurts to me is one of those guys who's a winner, right? I look at him; he doesn't do everything conventionally. He's more of a runner than he is a passer, but to me, he's a gamer. And I think Kirk Cousins is also a gamer. He just be making some dumbass mistakes sometimes. So I think I would rather have Jalen in that situation over Kirk Cousins. But that's just me. I feel like if the Vikings had Jalen Hurts, we'd be talking about him in a different light right now.
Yeah. I hear you on that.
What was the other? You had another name on there that
we agreed on all of them. No, we had Derek Carr, we had Matt Ryan, we had Ryan Tannehill. We took all three.
Ryan Tannehill was a questionable one for me because we've seen Ryan. I feel like Ryan Tannehill is actually underrated. Like I don't think he's a great quarterback by any means. Yeah. But I think he wins more than people, and I think he produces more than people think he does. Like when you think of Ryan Tannehill, you're like, oh, they just got Malik Willis. He's probably out. But Ryan Tannehill, since he's been with Tennessee, has been a viable starting quarterback. Like they went to the playoffs multiple times with him. I think we probably undervalue Ryan Tannehill as a whole, not just me and you, but I think as a whole. Yeah. NFL undervalues Ryan Tannehill.
This is what I think about Ryan Tannehill. I agree with you. I think Ryan Tannehill is underrated, but I think the Titans are overrated extremely. Like I think that's why people look at Ryan Tannehill in a different light, because people are putting the Titans at the top of the AFC, not necessarily like 1 or 2, but they still got them, as a locked in playoff contender. And I think that's why people look at Ryan Tannehill in a different light, just based off of the team's projections.
I don't know, man. He took him to the AFC Championship. It was like they almost went to the Super Bowl that year, and I feel like he's a little disrespected. I think Derek Carr was easy. That was like, all right, Derek Carr is a good quarterback. I think now he has the weapons. If he doesn't produce this year with Devontae Adams now, like I feel like then we have a whole different conversation about Derek Carr. But we see him lead that team, and Matt Ryan, to me, I feel like he gets a lifetime pass. He's never going to be that elite, like I'm going to win a Super Bowl guy, but we've seen him almost do it. Matt Ryan is the ultimate almost player. In my opinion.
I think the Colts have a big year. I like Matt Ryan, man. I think you look at the Colts last year, they should have been in the playoffs. Carson Wentz and that whole situation, they lose 2 games at the end of the season. Matt Ryan is leaps and bounds above Carson Wentz to me. I see the Colts having 11-5 or 11-6, whatever, 17 games, 11-6.
Yeah.
12-5 type of season, just because I think he's a much better quarterback, much better game manager than Carson Wentz.
Yeah, they got a top defense, so they just need Matt Ryan to not be Carson Wentz, and they'll make
Yeah,
the playoffs this year.
absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, it's interesting, man. Like I think Jalen Hurts' value is all over the place because it's tough with mobile guys because they bring so much value in other areas. A lot of times it's hard to say that they're a better quarterback than some of the more naturally gifted passers of the football. But in my opinion, with guys like Trey Lance, with guys like Jalen Hurts, it's all about winning football games at the quarterback position. Your job as a quarterback isn't always to throw for 5,000 yards. Your job as a quarterback, to me, is to get wins, no matter what. So when they knock guys like Lamar Jackson, Ryan Tannehill, those guys that still win, even though they're not they don't throw for 5,000 yards. To me, I feel like I'd rather have a guy in there that can win more than anything.
Yeah, but when you look at it, like for me, when I look at Super Bowl teams, Super Bowl winners, you need that guy that's gonna win you a game. Like I get the Ryan Tannehill wins games, I get Lamar Jackson wins games, and I think not to say that they're in the same category, but like when you look at Ryan Tannehill, I don't have faith in him being able to say he's gonna go win me a game. When you look at a guy like Lamar Jackson, you look at a guy like Pat Mahomes, Josh Allen, like I feel like even if my defense is playing horrendous, our team is playing horrendous, I still got faith that we can win a 38-35 game. You know what I'm saying? So I think that's the difference in guys like that, because obviously wins matter and you gotta win football games, but I think you still gotta have a guy that can win a game individually for you.
Before we get to a couple of comments, I want to throw one more name at you. One more name. It's been another hot name all offseason. Jalen Hurts or Tua Tagovailoa?
Oh, Jalen Hurts, easy. Not even a question. Oh my gosh.
So I think Tua is about to have a better year than people think. I'm probably still taking Jalen Hurts. So I ain't gonna cap. I just want to see what you said on that one, because
easily.
Tua might have a better year than people think.
I think he'll have a better year. This is like you said, you put Jalen Hurts on Minnesota. If you put Jalen Hurts on Miami, oh my God, I might put him in a Super Bowl contender.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be kind of nasty with the run game too. That would be nasty.
We're looking at Miami right now. Are they a playoff team? If they have just somebody who remotely is better than Tua, Jalen Hurts, Derek Carr, guys like that, like those guys who are in like the top 10, top 8 to 12 range.
They were trying to get Brady. That's why they got to pay up.
Yeah, they were, man. It's crazy, but. Yeah, I think we're looking at Jalen Hurts as, for me, way easily better than Tua.
Yeah, that was crazy. They lost the draft picks. The owner got suspended. There was a lot, man. A lot that happened with that Dolphins with the tampering. So, a couple questions from the guy, a homie Bruce. Shout out to the homie Bruce, always tapping in with us. This dude has a Wentz jersey.
Hey,
I'm surprised I don't see a Herbert jersey.
Herbert jersey is in the mail. I got to get ready for the season, man.
So you got a Herbert jersey?
I got a Herbert jersey coming. I got a Derwin jersey coming. He's about to get paid, so I got it. I got to show my respect to Derwin.
You didn't get a receiver in the top five receiver jersey?
Oh, I already got that. That's been in the closet. Yeah, I already got that. That's been in the closet. Yeah.
He said, "No way, Tannehill is underrated. He's another Ryan Fitzpatrick." I don't know about that, man. Ryan Fitzpatrick was just like a gunslinger, like journeyman gunslinger, somebody you put in there as a band-aid. But Tannehill, I think Tannehill is more talented than people give him credit for.
Yeah, he's more mobile than I thought too.
Yeah,
Tannehill can move.
He used to play receiver. Like, I think don't forget that about him.
Yeah.
Didn't Hurts get benched for Tua once? Oh, dude transferred to because of Tua. That's actually very true.
He absolutely did. I agree with you. But I don't know, man. When you look at Tua now, so Bruce, if you're looking at the game right now, if you're starting a team, NFL team, you want Tua or do you want Jalen Hurts? I think it's an easy answer for me.
Yeah, and I think it's more program based too. Like Tua was different there at Alabama. He played in college. Like it's a whole different ball game. And I also think Jalen Hurts has elevated his level of play since he came into the league too. Like I think we don't give enough credit to that, to players who change their game as they get better, or maybe after they get benched, or maybe have to leave programs. Sometimes players elevate, and Jalen Hurts was nice at Alabama too.
Hey, no disrespect to those guys at Alabama. I think I could have played quarterback at Alabama. They got an NFL team. They got an NFL team down there, man. I just got to hand the ball off and make a couple dump down throws. I think we good.
Facts. Yeah. Well, we could go into training camp, Marcus. So I think it might be a good time to wait for some preseason football this weekend.
Yeah.
Let's see some games, some highlights, and then
Yeah.
let's talk about it next week, man.
Yeah. I'm excited, man. It's football season finally. So I'm
Football's
excited.
here.
Yeah.
We'll get you guys more updates. Make sure anything NBA that happens too, we'll get you guys on it. But make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and catch Talk Your Talk next Tuesday, 3 o'clock Pacific time, 6 o'clock Eastern. We'll see
Yes,
y'all
sir.
later.
Peace.